Hi, I'm Koizun. Fridays are awesome. Chances you are going to hit that again. Welcome to the show. We start this Friday with a look at the Stanford of the U.S. debt ceiling. This is a limit on what the United States government is allowed to borrow. The first of all limits was set by Congress in 1939, and it can only be raised by Congress. That has been done dozens of times over the years, regardless of whether Democrats or Republicans were in control, because the U.S. government spends far more money than it's taken in, and it's done that for decades. It has to continually borrow more to pay its debts and fund its program. The government has reached its current borrowing limit that is at 28.5 trillion US dollar. If Congress doesn't vote to raise the debt ceiling again, the government won't be able to pay some of its bills. It could include military salaries, tax refunds, healthcare, and retirement benefits and interest government owns on its debt. So why hasn't Congress raised it? This is where politics come in. The decision is currently hung up in the U.S. Senate. Democrats there say more Republicans need to, quote, be responsible. That they need to join Democrats in voting to raise the debt ceiling to make sure the government pays debts. Republicans say because the Democrats control both chambers of Congress and the White House. They are party responsible for taking steps to raise the limit on its own. That may be possible, but neither party wants to be only one to raise the debt ceiling. Politicians are afraid of it will look like only their side is one of the doing all the spending. On the other hand, neither party wants to be blamed for any negative consequences if the debt ceiling isn't raised. So there's a lot of back and forth political wrestling whenever the government approaches its borrowing limit. In the past, Congress has always increased the limit. Financial analysts say failing to do that now could cause major economic problems in America and abroad. But with Democrats and Republicans so darkened, each saying it's other side's responsibility to raise the debt ceiling now. Compromise seemed unlike raising serious questions concerning government debt and spending in the week ahead. 10-second trivia. Bubble tea originated on what Asian island? Taiwan, Okinawa, Sri Lanka, or Hong Kong Island? In the early 1980s, bubble tea was invented in Taiwan, an island with centuries-old traditions. With more than 219 million people, the nation of Nigeria has the largest population in Africa, but officials estimate that more than 40% of Nigerians live in poverty and many face food insecurity when people don't have regular access to enough nutritious food. For what they do have access to, spoilage can be a problem. As the heat rises during the day, the condition produce deteriorates and food sold at a farmer's market can be decreased in value to less than half of where it started if it gets sold at all. Some companies are offering cold storage units in hope of preventing food spoilage in Nigeria and beyond. In this busy Nigerian market, the race is on to sell fresh produce early in the day. So you sell high quality bright and early in the morning. Then after 12 noon, all that intensity of Nigerian sun spoilages. All of the food produced Nigeria loses in waste around 40% per year according to the World Bank, while over 80 million people in the country face food insecurity. It's a burning issue this man is trying to solve. Namaka Ikewono is taking a fresh approach to food waste in cold hub. Food storage room designed for market and farms that are entirely powered by the sun, using though very rays to cool the food down. The mission really is to reduce food spoilage. It's like a food storage a key point along the supply chain. Farmers and retailer can store a crate of produce for around 25% per day, keeping it fresh for up to 21 days. This cold room can take and cool down up to 3 pounds of food, and it cool down from 30 to 35 degree temperature temperature switches that food is coming to eat about set a temperature 10 degrees Celsius that can stay in this cold room for up to 3 weeks still very fresh. The UN tells us that food waste account for up to 10% of global greenhouse gas emission. Each of the cold rooms should run on approximately between 20 to 30 liters of diesel every day, and by using solar energy we keep off the diesel completely. IQ 101 to the coal hub to very social as well as environmental impact. We have been able to create about 66 new jobs for women. Some have become empowered and change engines in their house and communities. Before coal tap, IQ1 started a radio network reaching estimated 2 million listeners to have farmers share knowledge and learn effective farming practice. Is one of the most effective soil growing on a farm himself. The cost of losses can be devastating. The Nigerian smaller farmer go through a lot, like climate where it's very difficult to plant, have to produce food, and where you are unable to sell that commodity or trade with that commodity. Number one is a national investment. All have been endorsed, and environmental resources are all lost. The moral of the farmer is lost too. That is why we need to make sure that if we produce food, we should as much as possible to try to get the food on the plate of those people. All AI composer, robots, rover, and intellectual posers were on display at the recent technology conference in China. They say posers because this isn't a real Albert Einstein, but it does speak Chinese, kind of look like him too. But these were on the other side to see like dancing and backflipping dogs good at keeping their footing. A robot on keyboards and mechanized system can be have medical patient, but why Einstein? Why not? He were considered a pretty brainy dude. Relatively speaking, if you got the quantum mechanics, massive batches, and the physics equivalent of his lightning square, go ahead and throw in some artificial intelligence and theory if levels is ununified playing field or robotic. Yeah, that's right. Today's showdown goes out on Kenya High School. It's located in Kenya, Nebraska. We hope you and you are watching have a wonderful weekend ahead. I'm Cora Azul from CNN.